Welcome back to the Band Guide, where we use GarageBand to create professional sounding music. I'm your band guy, Colin, and today I want to show you a crazy vocal delay trick that you can use to turn a vocal line into kind of a synth pad. It's wild. You're gonna love it. Let's check this out in the context of the mix, and then I'll highlight it, and we'll listen to it in solo and go through exactly how we created it.
She said I love you, but she called me by another name. She said I love you. Oh, what a shame. All those...
Kind of cool, right? Let's check this out in solo. So this is the sound that we created here. It's kind of crazy, right? Okay, if we take that out of this section of the song, listen to how sparse it sounds.
She said I love you, but she called me by another name. She said I love you. Oh, what a shame.
It just is a bit sad. You add it back in.
She said I love you.
You're not adding a part, but you're filling in that space. This is really, really cool. I don't use this often. I've only used it a couple times, but when I do, it's kind of the perfect thing and nothing else quite fits. It's also really, really easy to create. So let me show you exactly how I made it. So this is just a duplicate of the lead vocal track. So we duplicated the lead vocal track just by hitting Command D. That's going to duplicate the track. In this case, there's a couple more plugins we ended up adding on the lead vocal track after, but it's close enough. At the end of the day, we're mostly just going for similar processing. So that duplicates a vocal track, and then I just copy and pasted this section down onto this track. So I only wanted to have this happen on this one line. So if we take off this stereo delay here, it sounds like this. Just a very simple line. The stereo delay is what's really doing the work here. So this is all happening just inside that one plugin. It's crazy. Okay, so to find this is just your same stereo delay plugin. I've used a lot on this channel. Very simple delay plugin, but it has a lot of flexibility. Now, what it comes down to is the settings that we're using here. So let's look at the settings that we've used to create this sound. First thing is the left note we've set to an eighth note, and then the right note we've set to a quarter note. So that means the left ear is going to delay in an eighth note, and then the right ear is going to delay in a quarter note. I tend to think this way because we read left to right. I like to mix left to right. So if I have a sound coming in, I typically have it come in left to right. Sometimes I'll play with that, but that's generally how I approach it. And then the next big thing is that we have our left mix here, 100%, and our right mix, 100%. So this is only a delayed signal. There's no original sound happening here. It's just a delay. And then the high cut here, that's the next big thing. So on the high cut left and right, we've cut down the high frequencies. We've cut them off at about 1900 hertz and 2100 hertz. That's just saying we're cutting out all the high frequencies, so it sounds really dark and kind of muddy. It totally changes the tone of this delay. But where this is really getting the craziness is in the feedback. So the left feedback we've set to 100%, and the right feedback we've set to 100%. That means that it's just going to continue to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. So if I turn off the automation on the volume here, and we just let this play, it's just going to keep repeating and repeating, and it's going to go on. It will eventually die off, but it's going to keep feeding into itself and repeating and repeating. And that gives us a lot of flexibility to mix this in how and when we want to. Really, really cool. So that's exactly what we did then with the automation. We use this automation here to mix it up as he's singing this line. So as he finishes it, it starts to take over and becomes a dominant thing in this kind of gap between the two vocal lines. And then it turns down a little bit, and then it eventually trails all the way off. So I had to automate that just with my volume automation. I just went to volume automation and I automated it to come in, gain up, and then turn back down over time. So I was very intentional about how and when and where I set those points. And if you listen to it in the context of the mix, just watching the volume automation, this helps fill in this gap here. And it turns back down. So it's subtle, but as you heard without it in, it's really sparse without it. It's a very simple thing you can do to add a very melodic kind of synth pad, kind of unique, unidentifiable thing that's following and supporting the vocal melody and filling in gaps where you need it to. And again, you can then play with it with the automation of the volume to fill in where you need it to. It's crazy, and it's super simple to create. So all we did again is that stereo delay, set the settings with the feedback at 100%, set it to be a little bit dark, and then that's really it. And we just automate it to fit where we wanted it to. Now, automation and effects are super fun and they're super cool to play with, but they're only 2 parts of the mixing process. This is a very, very small part of the mixing process. At the end of the day, there's 6 parts that all mixes have if you want it to sound as good as possible. All professional mixes have 6 parts to them. And I want to help you get all 6 of those in your mixes so you can create more professional sounding music inside GarageBand today. I've put together a free 6-step checklist that just walks through the 6 steps that all professional mixes have and how you can do them inside GarageBand completely free. You can grab this checklist for free from the link in the description below, so be sure to pick it up. Before we go, I want to hear from you. Have you ever done anything like this in your mixes? If not, are you going to try now that you've seen it? Let me know in the comments below. If this video is helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week with another video.